Zoran rizzed up Donald Trump as I called it. I told you. It was a lock from a mile away. Did I not tell you that Donald Trump is a man who actually loves charisma, who actually appreciates someone's telegenic presence? I told you. MAGA for Mamdani was right. Dude, I think there is a real charisma void. Donald Trump is low-key not devoid of motion for that reason, because he has charisma. You don't have to like roll a nat 20. I mean, Zoran is uniquely charismatic, but like what's really interesting about this is that you don't really have to roll a nat 20. You could just be like kind of normal and it does wonders, especially for a guy like Trump. And if every person you see is like Lindsey Graham or annoying sycophantic brown nosers who don't have any sort of motion whatsoever and JD Vance, yeah, Zoran Mamdani is going to look like a Scott, dude. On the Democratic Party front, if the people that you're dealing with are people like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, you're gonna meet a guy like Zoran Mamdani and be like, oh my God, why did Trump invite Mamdani after having a mental breakdown after he won? What do you think? Because two reasons. One, because he can't destroy New York because that's where he's from. And also because Zoran Mamdani is the mayor of New York and Donald Trump also is a good politician, partially for this reason, okay? I hate him. I disagree with him. I think he's a clown. I think he's incompetent. I think he's an animal. I think he's a fascist. However, he is a quote unquote good politician if you recognize that he is getting whatever his agenda is across, right? He gets to dominate. He gets to do whatever the he wants. A part of that is because he has an eye for talent. He knows who to play ball with. He knows how to push and pull a little bit. He's a New York real estate social demon. He likes to be around people that he thinks are cool. He recognizes game. Like in his life, the only thing that he's been successful at is reality TV show guy. Okay? That is the only thing he's been good at. He has been an abject failure on every other front. But as a reality TV show guy, he has an eye for talent. Like that was literally his job. That was the whole concept around the Apprentice. Like his whole job was to just look at who is talented and recognize talent and keep them on the show.
I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people he won't surprise them because they already like him.
And
Bro, he's glazing Zoran. Of course he's glazing Zoran. It's the same reason why he always talks about how he likes Claudia Scheinbaum. Says like she's a very powerful lady. Very powerful lady. Very powerful. This lady, she's got power. She's very good. Anyone with talent, anyone with power, anyone with something that they have offered to Donald Trump, he loves them. It could be Arab Sheik, who's giving him $10 billion. He is Mr. What will you do for me? He is a New York nationalist. He likes charisma, and he also really loves New York. This was part of the reason why I thought there was no way he was going to actually cook New York. He's Mr. New York. The guy that wants to be loved and admired and respected by the New York elite has never gone away. Trump also loves a winner. It makes total sense.
it sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda.
Shaking hands and smiling with the man who oversaw the genocide you campaign on opposing is disgusting no matter how much of a power play it is. Wait, what? Dog, what the are you saying? He's the fucking president. What are you saying right now? Yo, y'all need to wake up, okay? Some of you unironically behave in the crustiest, most anarchist, most fucking unbearable, hyper woke, rad lib loser ways possible. That's the fucking president. Donald Trump is saying he's going to shut off money flowing into New York City. You have to talk to the president. That's so, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind at the insanity. Oh, excuse me. I can't believe you're platforming Donald Trump. Someone's in a very bad mood today. I mean, I'm sorry. This is, when I see chats like that, I do understand why so many of these annoying liberals are constantly talking about how unrealistic my worldview is about politics or whatever, because they met someone like that in the wild and they just have never watched my stream, I guess. So they automatically assume that that's the type of person that I am, I guess. Like, that's the time I'm on. Brother, he's got a responsibility for, you know, what, how many people live in New York? 8.8 million people live in New York City. He has a responsibility for all of those people, to take care of all of those people. You sound like a Cory Booker voter right now. This is your liberal take, bro. You're a liberal. Man, shut your bitch ass up. What do I always say about Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries? I'm never like, oh, I can't believe they're meeting with the president. I'm saying I can't believe they're not actually dealing with the president. I think I'm still cynical of Donald Trump. I think he recognizes talent, he recognizes charisma, and he wanted to lean into it. I don't necessarily think that this will yield super positive results or anything.
Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. But maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Can you explain why making him stand is a maximum disrespect? No, it's just disrespect. Trump is Mr. Power Play, dude. He cares. He's like the strong handshake is profoundly important guy. Okay, he believes in the power of a strong handshake. Like that's the type of he is. That's the type of time he's on, right? So for that reason, a lot of this stuff has symbolism for him. Making Zohran Mamdani stand upright next to him while he sits at the desk is a power play. However, there is a more disrespectful thing that he could do. It's not the maximum disrespect. At least he's like making him respond to questions and stuff instead of just like making him stand there quietly, you know? I mean, it's like old school businessman shit, like boomer parents that talk about the importance of a strong handshake. Like that's, you can make him sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce. I take it Morris Trump is too old and frail to stand now. No. He does that on purpose. If he wants to see you as a peer or someone who he actually has to play ball with, like he'll just sit. They'll both sit. Like think about MBS. Think about the conversation between MBS. That's the highest level of respect that Trump offers.
You're both from different parts of the political spectrum. You're both populists, though, and I just wonder to what extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign.
Well, I actually told the president that so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New Yorkers who had voted for the president, when we saw an increase in his numbers in New York City, that came back to the same issue: cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of...
This is such a good way to oh God. One of the best ways to convince a person is not to force your opinions down their throat, but it's instead to make it seem like they came to this conclusion. So for Zohran Mamdani, one of the best ways that he constantly talks about the affordability situation is when he ties it back to Donald Trump by stating that Donald Trump actually ran a pretty effective campaign that won on the issues of affordability. He makes it seem as though they are completely aligned on this issue. Now, of course, Donald Trump hasn't done dick about affordability, but it's also true that he actually ran on affordability. So Trump knows that this is successful. Trump knows that this is an issue that he has to address. So he can't just sit there. He can't just sit there and be like, no, I don't care about affordability.
The cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focused on that same cost of living. And that's where I am really looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to.
Look, he likes him. Like, I see it. He likes him, dude. Oh, he's cooking. Trump is in a unique predicament because he's obviously withering away with his support in his base. He has to beef up his populist bona fides. Zohran Mamdani has a lot of motion and a lot of momentum. So obviously this is a great opportunity for him to lean into that, just to grab onto it. He also, I think, sees this as a decent opportunity to drive a bigger wedge in the Democratic Party. Trump sees this as an opportunity to shit on Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who he knows vehemently dislike Zoran Mamdani. Let's enjoy this gets better. Yes, I saw some clips of this. It's f***ing crazy.
A little bit in getting the prices because, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them. If we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering their rates.
Absolutely.
Should Mamdani be cozying up to Trump, though? He's not cozying up to Trump, man. Zoran Mamdani is the fucking mayor of New York. Trump is the president of the United States of America, which also happens to be the president of New York City, okay? When you are the president, it's kind of like the mayor, but for everyone, okay? Zoran Mamdani is the mayor of 8.8 million New Yorkers. Donald Trump is kind of like the mayor, but for 330 million Americans, right? Which includes Zoran Mamdani, for the record. Still doesn't justify platforming, though. Okay, you guys need to stop.
I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution. It just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
I don't mind. That's crazy. I have to play that back. The arm pat. No, you can call me a fascist. I don't mind. What the fuck? That is the craziest part about it. This is probably the craziest part.
It's easier. It's
Positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
From here, Trump starts bouncing the right-wing reporters off left and right. Donald Trump stepped in front of the fascism question for him. Like, what is going on? I mean, there's also obviously a terrifying prospect of this. It's unique because Donald Trump literally defends Zoran Mamdani there for calling him a fascist. It's also weird and scary because why the fuck is Donald Trump openly being like, yeah, I am a fascist? Donald Trump is too dumb to know what a fascist is? No. That right there is actually deflating the term fascism. Donald Trump in that moment is basically saying, he's saying, he's giving Zoran an out and saying, you don't have to back away from your position here and make yourself look bad. You're a winner. This is your moment in the spotlight. I don't really care about this term at all. They just call me that, just like they call me racist, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay? That's most likely his belief system here. That's like, he's basically saying like, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. It's not true, but it is what it is type of situation, which is still pretty fucked up. It's not that he has no clue what it means. He knows what it means.
Mr. President, the cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on. Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. Mamdani.
He's sticking up to him, isn't he? Zoran wins the election during his speech. During his elected speech, he insults Trump, and now he's standing beside him like a wet chicken. He clearly doesn't have a character. What are you talking about? One, he's not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect. Two, Donald Trump hasn't done anything to undermine New Yorkers under the Zoran Mamdani mayoral reign yet. Obviously, you're gonna fucking play nice to hopefully stave off any kind of negative policy making that the White House is going to engage in terms of undermining the affordability agenda of Zoran Mamdani, right? What matters here is what he does after Donald Trump starts, sending ICE agents to New York.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost. The new word is affordability.
This saved Thanksgiving across America. Yeah, so close to Thanksgiving. A lot of you guys are going to have a really funny time with your relatives. After months and months of Zoran Mamdani is a communist, it's terrifying. He's really bad. Donald Trump just basically deflates a year's worth of insane negative commentary and coverage from Fox News with one single meeting, with one single light tap on the shoulder. Donald Trump just basically came in and was like, no, this guy is handsome, he's funny, he's charismatic, he's gonna do well. He calls himself a communist, it's all right. He calls me a fascist, I'm all right with that. This is aura. There's no other way to put it. Donald Trump has to sit there and try to take some of his shine because plenty of mayors win elections. Donald Trump is not inviting them to the White House to talk to them and to talk to them like this. You have to think, why is Donald Trump doing this? The reason why Donald Trump is doing this is because he wants a little bit of that motion. That's it. He's low-key clout chasing Zoran Mamdani at a time when he recognizes his base of support is withering away. That's crazy. Were all the Fox News commentators saying that Zoran was ammo for the right? What is the right going to say about him? I mean, they're going to go back to it. Trump is going to go back to it. Trump is going to talk about how Zoran is a scary communist. I cannot comprehend how Trump likes Mamdani more than most of the Democratic Party leadership. Zoran did the genial leftist relative on Thanksgiving thing where you pulled a I don't like liberals either card and are just super vague about everything else. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the reason why, Austin always tells me his uncle loves some of my commentary, right? Because I'm always like, yeah, I don't like Nancy Pelosi. Republicans love when I rip on liberals. They don't understand that I'm ripping on liberals because of their closeness to the Republicans. But I think ultimately it's more like I don't like it's beyond I don't like liberals either. Because I don't think Zoran dislikes liberals. I think Zoran likes liberals. He's closer to liberals than even someone like myself is. I have nothing against Zoran, but from my perspective, this seems so cringe. Okay, well, he has an obligation to serve the 8.8 million populated city of New York. Those are his constituents. So you might consider it to be cringe, but that's his job.
But it's just groceries. It's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under...
You're blinded by IDPOL? Me? Blinded by IDPOL? What is the identity politics here? I like that it's everybody in this community basically calling each other liberals and rad libs and saying, accusing one another of doing identity politics, when I think my analysis on this is pretty sober. When I see something that Zoran is doing that I disagree with, I call it out, as I have this past week. Not that long ago. I've done it yesterday. I did it earlier in the morning. And when I think that there's something normal that's taking place here that's actually objectively good for the left, or objectively good in terms of Donald Trump basically destroying a year's worth of insane sentiment.
The Biden administration, and we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with
No,
U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to? Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE then? We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime. More than ICE per se, we discuss crime. And he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction. And he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And, you know, we actually, people would be shocked. But I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani,
Kind of up for Zoran to not check in with Hasanabi's chat before meeting with the president just to see if it's okay. Okay, you're joking, but there's a low key. There are people in here who genuinely believe that. Like, there are people who are operating with that exact attitude where they're like, I don't understand what's going on here. Why didn't he fucking come to us? It's rude of him, really. And they would have been like, no, actually, you're not allowed to do that because that would mean you're normalizing fascism. Yeah. Zoran Mamdani, the Hassan Pike delegation is cutting ties with Zoran Mamdani. The honeymoon period is over.
protesters.
Okay?
Yeah, Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people.
No. Jack fucking Posobiec is in that room. Are you fucking joking? Oh my God, dude. Ew, gross, gross, unacceptable. Switching up on Big Zo as soon as he found a bigger political streamer, Trump, to hang with. Yeah. No, he's the one who switched up on me. He forgot his day ones, dude. He forgot his day ones. That's what it is.
Since that in your acceptance speech, you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general. And so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our
But to be
city.
clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Trump loves charisma. The reason why he invited Zoran Mamdani here is because of this. Trump endorsed Mamdani before Schumer did. Donald Trump understands where to push and pull. That's why he won the presidency, man. He knows. He's a room reader. He knows who's popping. He's doing it because his base is frustrated at him with affordability, and he sees Zoran Mamdani's victory as an affordability victory. See, we're on the right side. We're on the right track. We're on the same side, you and I.
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built.
Yeah, Dan Clancy is Hassan's handler. Exactly.
He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, named de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback.
Yeah, once again, by the way, call of the year, not the hardest one to make, but I told you he would have played ball with Zoran. And here he is, balling on it, okay? Here he is, playing ball. I did not expect him to cooperate like this. No, you don't understand Trump. If you thought that Donald Trump was going to go after someone like Zoran in a negative manner in person, you do not understand how Trump operates. Zoran Mamdani, regularly slammed for being a political novice, just pulled off an absolute political masterclass. He requested a meeting with Trump, got Trump to endorse his efforts, and defanged the right's constant attacks on him. Absolute incredible stuff. And the reason this was possible is because Trump understands the political winds, where people are on affordability, and can't go against Mamdani, who has become the face of that issue for millions of Americans. Also, don't think Trump was not aware and not reveling in the fact that he was making the Democratic Party establishment come out looking like complete asshats, but they walked right into that one. It's funny because I'm not confused by this, but it seems Republicans are. And the reason why I'm not confused by this is because as a Trump stan, I understand him better than his own cult does. I'm not confused by this allegiance at all. I'm not confused by this, not allegiance necessarily, but like this back and forth conversation. I am telling you, Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zoran a communist tomorrow. But for today, he's taking a little bit of that shine. It's that simple. You also have to understand, like, what motivates this man, right? What motivates Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a narcissist. A big part of what drives him is said narcissism. He always wanted to be endorsed and welcomed by the New York elite. But because him and his father were slumlords and shitty real estate developers and very nouveau riche with their vibes, with their attitude, especially Trump, because he's like the first gen, right? His dad was the one who made all the money, and then Trump was like the first gen rich guy. He went to all the right schools. He wanted to be a part of this elite society in New York, but he was too tacky. He was too rude. So he was never welcomed by them. I know it sounds stupid, but that is a major driving force behind Donald Trump's disdain for the elite. But instead, that fucking drive for wealth and drive for power and endless need for acceptance and admiration unironically caused him to fail upwards and become the fucking president. This is also part of the reason why he wasn't going to ever like pull a Cuba on New York, right? Because he is still, first and foremost, very much a New Yorker. He sees Zoran Mamdani as a guy who has been welcomed by that group. And as someone who has been welcomed by that group, as long as he is somewhat cordial to Donald Trump is going to respond positively.
The city, I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays.
Wait, what do you mean by New York elite? Because New York billionaires like Bill Ackman hate Zoran? What? Dude, you think Donald Trump likes Bill Ackman? No, I'm talking about like the movers and shakers of culture, not Bill Ackman. Nobody worth a damn respects Bill Ackman. I'm talking about the cultural elite. And I'm talking about old money, okay? Like Anderson Cooper's family, okay? The Vanderbilts.
Tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would.
Ooh, That is, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's such a good question and such a good answer. Oh my Lord, what are my ears hearing right now? What is coming out of this man's mouth? He said, yes, I would. Oh, that's an endorsement, folks. God damn, dude. Are you fucking serious? Are you be for real right now? Oh my Lord.
After the meeting, absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Okay,
You know, he may have different views.
okay. This goes even beyond my expectations. Never mind. I know I said I precog this already, but like this goes beyond. This goes beyond the precog.
But in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders.
Someone check on Deborah Messing. Michael Rappaport didn't even know that this meeting was taking place. He just felt a disturbance in the force and he had an aneurysm. Please, Mr. President, why?
I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders votes.
People are surprised, but if Mao or Stalin were still alive, Trump would 100% glaze them. Not even, that is 100,000% a lock. Are you kidding me? 100,000%. You'd be like, Mao, great guy, very powerful, very tall too. Didn't know how tall he was. Turns out I wouldn't expect it, but he was very tall guy. Didn't like the birds. Don't quite get that part, but let me tell you, okay? The longest march, they're saying, I can't walk like that, but Mao, he was walking. Hey, he unified the country. He dominated the forces, just like I dominate the Democrats. He pushed, just like the Democrats. I pushed the Democrats towards the sea, and Mao pushed Chiang Kai-shek towards Formosa. Believe it, folks. These guys love them. The Chinese, they got little books. I hate reading. They love to read. The Chinese, they're big readers. They got his quotes. Someone needs to put my quotes like Art of the Deal in a book, and we got to give it to every single child. And he's got MAGA red. The book is red. It's little and it's red. And we need a similar red book. I guess quotations of Donald Trump would be his like greatest Twitter posts. You know what I mean?
Voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But, no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
Oh, God, I fucking cannot stand. What is this question, man? Does this not worry you that they may have gotten the Mamdani? I wouldn't even accept this meeting if I were him. Oh, you wouldn't accept a meeting with the president if you were the mayor of New York? Well, that's cool. I don't think you have to worry about that, you know? Guys, look. It's fine. It's just some people have concerns and it's understandable. I don't think this is a bad thing. Okay? I don't think this is a bad thing, especially considering how well this played out. This is a very good thing. Okay? Not a bad thing, but a good one. Especially considering that Donald Trump basically cut away at the unlimited amount of propaganda coming from the right flank, coming from the establishment Democrats against socialism, against Mamdani in particular, and it was a glaze fest. It was fucking glazed donuts all around, you know? Look at this Truth Social post. It was a great honor meeting Zoran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. Like, what are we doing? This is good. This is good. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but a good thing.
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if you flew, that's a lot quicker too. No.
Like, dude, look at that. Look at that. Trump is defending the boy. Yeah, like, what are you, fucking stupid? What a stupid question. Thank you. I can't believe it. What do you mean? Why don't you take the fucking bus? The bus actually emits carbon emissions. Why don't you bike to fucking Washington, D.C. from New York? What is this? I hate how stupid people are sometimes. This is one of those times. It's so stupid that even Donald Trump is like, come on, dude. Fucking come on.
You know, I mean, he's working very hard for him to be, that's a very...
Palpatine take? I don't even know what that means.
You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a long time.
Yeah, it's such a basic, exactly. Oh, why didn't you take the bus instead of the plane to DC? Don't be fucking stupid.
Around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about...
Why is he nodding? Yo! He's glazing so fucking hard. He's glazing so hard that you can hear him agree with him without actually seeing it. This goes even beyond the fascism moniker being used as simple political football, okay? I will say, like, Trump could have easily just been like, yeah, everybody calls everybody fascist. Who cares? Whatever, right? That's just politics. But this is, I think, far more consequential. He doesn't stop him. Anyone else that says some shit, we know how Trump operates, right? Anyone else that would say something in his presence that he knows is bad to say, he would have just physically stopped them. He would have been like, nope, I don't agree with this. I think you're out of your mind. You're wrong, and everyone knows you're wrong. Like, he's just sitting there, not interjecting and even nodding along. That's crazy.
Concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump didn't do a peace and work hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace.
Oh God, the second line of questioning is so fucking unbearable. Come on, will you give Donald Trump the credit? Will you give Donald Trump the credit? Okay, dude. Yeah, bro. When you brought it up at that talk with the establishment Dems, they immediately deflected while Trump is like, hell yeah, brother. Yeah.
Mr. President, question for Mr. Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go...
Hassan is missing the arm taps and the smiles. Brother, I'm in the room, and I can hear it. And by the way, liberals are very happy about this meeting as well. Look at Brian Stelter. Trump just deflated months of incredibly hostile Fox News and MAGA media commentary about Zoran Mamdani. The official DNC account is farming Zoran now? No, they have been. They've been farming Zoran. They've been farming Zoran for a while, even though the establishment Democrats are not. Because remember, the Democrats' Twitter account is being is probably like a younger staffer that controls that account. Someone said that sometimes Trump supporters understand Trump the least, and I'm beginning to understand given the reaction to the Mamdani meeting. Yeah, it's true. Trump supporters understand Trump the least. I think I have a better understanding of Donald Trump than the average MAGA supporter in terms of what moves him, in terms of what his ambitions are. I think we here in this community have a better grasp on who Trump is than his own fans do. I think the average liberal even understands Donald Trump better than the the average MAGA Trump supporter. And the reason why I say that is because at least they are whether on accident or on ideological grounds, they are antagonistic to Donald Trump because they recognize that Donald Trump is narcissistic, selfish, and also very much disinterested in improving the lives of even his own base of support.